In the late 1930s, the McDonald family moved from Manchester, New Hampshire to Hollywood, California, where brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald began working as handyman at motion picture studios. Their father, Patrick McDonald, opened the Air Dome, a food stand on Huntington Drive, Route 66, near the Monrovia Airport in the Los Angeles County, California, with hot dogs being one of the first items sold. Hamburgers were later added to the menu at a cost of 10 cents, with all-you-can-drink orange juice at 5 cents. The restaurant was renamed McDonald's Barbecue and had 25 menu items, mostly barbecue. In 1947, after the McDonald brothers realized that most of their profits came from selling hamburgers, they closed down their car hop drive-in to establish a streamlined system with a simple menu, which consisted of only hamburgers, cheeseburgers, potato chips, coffee, soft drinks, and apple pie. After the first year, potato chips and pie were swapped out for French fries and milkshakes. The car hops were eliminated, making the new restaurant a self-service operation. Richard and Maurice took great care in setting up their kitchen like an assembly line to ensure maximum efficiency. The restaurant's name was changed again, this time to simply McDonald's, in 1948. In 1952, the brothers decided they needed an entirely new building in order to achieve two goals: further efficiency improvements and a more eye-catching appearance. They collected recommendations for an architect and interviewed at least 4, finally choosing Stanley Clark Meston, an architect practicing in nearby Fontana. The new restaurant's design achieved a high level of noticeability thanks to gleaming surfaces of red and white ceramic tile, and 2 25-foot yellow sheet metal arches trimmed in neon called Golden Arches design. Further marketing techniques were implemented to change McDonald's from a sit-down restaurant to a fast food chain. They used such things as turning off the heating to prevent people wanting to stay so long, fixed and angled seating so the customer would sit over their food, promoting them to eat faster, spreading the seats further apart so being less of a sociable place to dine in, and giving their customers branded cone-shaped cups, forcing them to hold their drink whilst eating, which would speed up the eating process. In late 1953, with only a rendering of Meston's design in hand, the brothers began seeking franchisees. Their first franchisee was Neil Fox, a distributor for General Petroleum Corporation. Fox's stand, the first with Meston's Golden Arches design, opened in May 1953 at Central Avenue and Indian School Road in Phoenix, Arizona. Their second franchisee was the team of Fox's brother-in-law, who opened their stand in August 1953 in Downey, California. The Downey stand has the distinction of being the oldest surviving McDonald's restaurant. The Downey stand was never required to comply with the McDonald's Corporation remodeling and updating requests over the years because it was franchised not by the McDonald's Corporation, but by the McDonald brothers themselves to Williams and Landon. Ray Kroc joined the chain in 1954 and built it into an eventually global franchise, making it the most successful fast food corporation in the world. In 1954, Ray Kroc, a seller of Prince Castle brand multi-mixer milkshake machines, learned that the McDonald brothers were using 8 of his machines in their San Bernardino restaurant. His curiosity was piqued, and he went to take a look at the restaurant. He was joined by good friend Charles Lewis, who had suggested to Kroc several improvements to the McDonald's burger recipe. Believing the McDonald's formula was a ticket to success, Kroc suggested they franchise their restaurants throughout the country. The brothers were skeptical. However, the self-service approach could succeed in colder, rainier climates. Furthermore, their thriving business in San Bernardino and franchises already operating or planned made them reluctant to risk a national venture. Kroc offered to take the major responsibility for setting up the new franchises elsewhere. He returned to his home outside of Chicago with rights to set up McDonald's restaurants throughout the country, except in a handful of territories in California and Arizona already licensed by the McDonald brothers. The brothers were to receive 0.5% of gross sales. Kroc's first McDonald's restaurant opened in April 1955 at 400 North Lee Street in Des Plaines, Illinois, near Chicago. The Des Plaines interior and exterior was painted by master painter Eugene Wright. Eugene was asked to come up with a color scheme, and he chose yellow and white, with dark brown and red being secondary trim colors. Those colors would go on to become the colors of all McDonald's franchises. Once the Des Plaines restaurant had become operational, Kroc sought franchisees for his McDonald's chain. In 1956, he discovered that the McDonald brothers had licensed the franchise rights for Cook County, Illinois, to the Fredgelac Ice Cream Company. Kroc was incensed that the McDonald's had not informed him of this arrangement. He purchased the rights back for $25,000, $230,400 today, 5 times what the Fredgelacs had originally paid, and pressed forward. McDonald's grew rapidly, from 34 restaurants in 1958 to 1,000 before the end of the decade. Boosted by steady growth, the company's stock began trading publicly in 1965. Their products and symbols would define the McDonald's brand, including the Big Mac, 1968, the Egg McMuffin, 1973, Happy Meals, 1979, and Chicken Nuggets, 1983. The chain continued to expand domestically and internationally, extending to Canada in 1967, reaching a total of 10,000 restaurants by 1988, and operating more than 35,000 outlets in more than 100 countries in the early 21st century. Growth was so swift in the 1990s that it was said a new McDonald's opened somewhere in the world every 5 hours. It effectively became the most popular family restaurant, emphasizing affordable food, fun, and flavors that appealed to children and adults alike. Thank you for watching. Please check out our other animated history shows, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.